Hi, and welcome to my channel, Living for Great Health. Today I've got a little bit something different for you. Normally, you know, I do a lot of healthy, quick meals. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different, and that's going to be I'm going to bake some bread. Now, this bread is special. It really tastes great, and it's really healthy, but it's gluten-free. So if you're not into gluten-free, then turn it off. But if you are into gluten-free, you want a great, healthy bread that tastes good, because if you know, I buy a lot of breads. I try to eat the gluten-free breads, but they just don't taste that good to me. This recipe is really great. So let's get started. It's really easy to make. The first thing you do is you take 1 cup of almond flour. You take 1 cup of arrowroot flour, 1/3 cup of coconut flour, and then a teaspoonful of sea salt. And just take those ingredients, all the dry ingredients, and mix them up in the bowl. Get them combined really well before you do anything else. You want to make sure that the lumps are out of it. It's really smooth and you've got all the mixture mixed up there. Okay, we're done mixing this now. We're going to set this to the side for a few minutes. Next thing we've got to do, and this is probably the most critical part, is you're going to use some filtered water, and it needs to be between 105 and 110 degrees. It really needs to be there because we're going to put some yeast in here, and the yeast won't work unless it's at the right temperature. So I use my handy dandy little thermometer here to make sure where we're at, and it looks like we're just about perfect. We're at 107. So you're going to use the water. You're going to put 2 teaspoonsful of maple syrup, and I use real maple syrup. I'm going to make sure you use real maple syrup. Don't just use that stuff that comes off the shelf that's just sugar. You don't want to use that. Real maple syrup. Stir that up a bit. All right, we need to wait about a minute there, and then we're going to put in the yeast, and the yeast is just going to sit there once we put it in, and we're going to let that yeast set for about 10 minutes. So we'll be back in just a second. Okay, we've let our yeast mixture set for about 10 minutes. Now, just a little comment for you. I know I put maple syrup in here, and for those of you worried about the glycemic index or the sugar in this, the yeast eats most of that up, so most of it's gone. So there's very, very low glycemic index in this. So our next procedure is going to be, we have ground chia seeds and psyllium powder. And we're just going to add these in here. And we're going to let those set in there for just about a minute. And then we're going to mix them all together. And once we do that, then we're going to bring our dry ingredients back and we're going to knead it all together and make our dough. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to mix this up now, put all the ingredients in this bowl. We're going to stir it up real good. Get all that psyllium and the chia seeds mixed up in here with the yeast and the maple syrup. Get that all going here. Mix it up for a second. Yeah, there we go. It's thickening nicely. That's what it's supposed to be doing, is getting thicker. This is a really healthy bread. I mean, it's got potassium and iron. In fact, I'll give you the ingredients here. Now, you may be wondering how much liquid I used. I used I used a 1.25 cups of filtered water in here. So there we go. That's all mixed up. We're ready to go on that. Now we're going to bring our dry mixture back, and we're going to put this in here. There we go. Get that mixture all in there. And now we're going to start putting it all together here. I use a wooden spoon that gets it all together. And this will become just like dough, regular bread dough is what it's going to be. So we're gonna mix this up after I get it together, and we'll get ready to knead it. I'll be right back. So now we're gonna knead our dough for about 2-3 minutes. Get it together just like regular bread dough. Now after we do that, after we knead this, we're going to put it back in our bowl here, and then we're going to let it set in a warm place, or warmer place, at least not out in the open, not out in the air. Typically what I'll do is I'll put it back in the bowl, cover it with a moist cloth, and then I will put it in the oven. Even though the oven is not on, it still stays warmer inside the oven. So there we go. I think we're good on that. And we're going to put that right back in the bowl, like that. And we're going to drape it with a moist cloth and put it in a dry location that's a little bit warmer. Okay, so there we go. We're going to just drape this with the moist cloth. Let it set, let it rise. Stick it in the oven, and we're going to let that set for about 30 minutes. Okay, we've had our bread sitting in one place for about an hour. We're ready to take it out here. And what we're going to do with it now, and just a reminder, always make sure your hands are clean. I cleaned my hands very well, washed them very well before we're touching food. What you want to do is take it out, and usually what I do is I just cut it in half. That way we get 2 loaves out of this. Roll that into a little ball. And normally I would go ahead and I would just cook one of them at a time, but I'm going to go ahead and cook them both together today. I've preheated my oven to 425, so it's ready to go. And I also put the cooking sheet with parchment paper in the oven to get it warm ahead of time. So those are ready to go. Let's set this all to the side here. And we're going to make a little egg wash on here for the bread. That way we can make it nice and brown on top. It looks really good. Again, these bread rolls, this bread is very healthy. It's got a lot of minerals in it. Iron, potassium, I think I mentioned that before. But real good. No gluten, of course. So, got that mixed up. So let's take our rack out of the oven here. Put this up here. Put those on there. And what you want to do is just push these out a bit, about the same size. Don't burn yourself on this pan because it's going to be hot. Probably make them about 1 inch thick, maybe around there. And then we're just going to give them a little bath here in egg. Make them real nice and brown. And this really wasn't that hard to do. It's pretty easy to do, actually. Again, the only thing you have to make sure of is that you're watching that yeast mixture. And what I do is I just kind of do a little crossing. As I said, watch the pan, it's hot. Little crosses here, a little tic-tac-toe. And there you go. And we are ready to put that back in the oven. We're going to cook these for about 30 to 40 minutes until they're golden brown. Take them out and we'll take a look at them. So we'll be back. Okay, well, I've taken it out of the oven, put them on a rack to cool. So they've been cooling for a while. And we're all done. And yes, I know they're not the most beautiful loaves of bread in the world, but it's all about the ingredients. But let you know too, there is a lot of fiber in these. I got about 20% fiber in these. So if that's in your diet, then there you go. But let's cut it up here and see just what they look like. There you go. All done. Looks really good. Put a little butter on here. And there you go. Got your bread, real nutritious bread, easy to make. So enjoy. Hey, if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell and the like button, and we're good to go, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.